Hi guys. This is my project on Where the Wild Things Are. It was one of my favorite books as a child growing up. My mom used to read it to me all the time. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you. Alright. So, the night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another. So he's over here wreaking havoc everywhere. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew. And grew until a ceiling hung with vines, and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through the night and day. And in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." And they danced and howled at the moon and hung on branches and marched everywhere. "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then, all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said no. The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws, but Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day, and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot. Yeah, that was Where the Wild Things Are. Great book. So anyway, I started off answering number 8. So that question said, "Why are children's books so important for educating children and parents?" So I think children's books kind of simplify complicated lessons, if that makes sense. So lessons in life like saying please and thank you, or accepting other cultures, or being kind to one another. It's kind of simplified in these books, and it gives pictures along with it, so it's a lot easier for kids to understand. And also for the adult, it's easier to kind of put into perspective and teach the little one about these things, But yeah, so I think, and then I also think there's a lot of hidden messages in children's books that maybe children will understand as well. And again, the adult can teach the child. But yeah, I think it kind of shapes us into people that we are today. Like, I read a lot of children's books as a kid, and it taught me a lot of manners and to be nice to people, and I liked a lot of Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss had good messages too. But yeah, in general, I just think it simplifies valuable lessons. Makes it easy for everyone to understand. I think it's important because it's just an easy tool to help teach us how to be good and how to do the right thing and stuff. So I think that's why children's books are important. And then going to number 3, kind of jump back and forth. But I answered, how does the perspective of your children's book deal with stereotypes and assumptions based on difference? So going to this book, I feel that these monsters were kind of assumed to be different. Obviously, they look different than the normal human. So you look at them and you assume that they're going to be these crazy mean monsters with their horns and you know, they have their own tribe, and they just look pretty scary with their teeth and claws. They're all pointy, but in reality, you know, Max gets to the island and they're so accepting of him, and they're so nice to him. They have fun together, and you know, they basically accept him into their tribe, and they all hang out. They make him king of the wild things, and I don't know. They're so nice and kind. So I think it just kind of goes to show, don't judge a book by its cover. Even though something is perceived as different and not, you know, the norm, it doesn't mean that they're going to be a certain way that you think. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's how, you know, this book deals with stereotypes and assumptions about things. You know, you look at them and you think they're going to be mean and crazy, but really they're so kind and nice and they want to have fun. So yeah, that was me answering number 3. So then now I'm going to jump to number 9. And that question said, how do children's books teach acceptance of self and cultural difference? So this is just a general question. I don't think this book really touched on too much of cultural differences and stuff, other than where the wild things are. They're like, you know, they're different people and they're accepting of Max. But I think in general, in all the children's books that I grew up reading, everyone is always so nice and respecting of one another, no matter who or what you are. Excuse me. But yeah, I think like a lot of books, I can't name any off the top of my head, but it's just always like, whether, you know, I've read a lot of books too and seen a lot of books in Target about like, I don't know, just different cultures, and everyone's just so nice and accepting, and I feel like that's how we can teach kids how to be like accepting of different cultures and stuff, because children's books, you know, you have all these pictures of different skin colors and different types of hair and stuff, and everyone's just so kind. So if in real life a kid sees that kind of, you know, look in person, like, they kind of reflect on what they read in that book to real life, if that makes sense. I don't know. So that was me answering that one. And then 10, this was another general question. It said, how do children's books teach love and respect for others? And again, same thing. I feel like a lot of children's books I've read, you know, I've read a couple about children being like grateful for their mom and dad, and you know, the mom and dads are having fun with the kids and stuff, and they're always saying thank you. And again, I just feel like pictures are a big part of it, and you know, when you put dialogue to those pictures, it kind of paints a picture in the kids' minds, and I feel like it really sticks with the kid. Like, there's a lot of things and a lot of pictures I remember being a kid. And I think in this book specifically too, there was with supper, the dinner, basically the kids' dinner, the mom told him, you know, you're not getting dinner, like, no supper, go to bed. You know, she sent him to bed without dinner, and because he was being a brat, because he was being a pain in the butt. So the mom got mad. But I feel like at the end of the book, when he smelled supper and he came back home, it was sitting on his little dresser. You know, it kind of goes to show that even though the kid was being a brat, the mom still gave him supper. I mean, obviously that's her kid, but yeah, it just kind of showed how, like, she's, you know, whether he's being a brat, you know, she still loves him and respects him. Like, obviously she's going to give him dinner, so I feel like that's how this book taught me love and respect. You know, it kind of felt like, oh, well, the mom, you know, has this kid's back, even though this kid didn't think so. And then also, the kid wanting, you know, missing home, there's a picture, let me see if I could pull it up. I want this video to end, I'm scared. But yeah, he was sitting there, and it looked like he was kind of missing home, and that's when he says that he wanted to go home and be where someone loved him best of all. So he ended up wanting to go home, and, you know, he got his supper, but I feel like that, again, too, like, kind of teaches kids to love their moms or family. You know, no matter how deep in imagination you are, you're always going to remember who you love and stuff. So I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, in general, feel like a lot, there's all kinds of different books out there that teaches us so many different lessons. Just depends on which book you get. But I love children's books because there's always hidden meanings in that, you know, and there's simple meanings too. And it's, I don't know, children's books, these authors are really good. But yeah, so that was my take on Where the Wild Things Are. Yeah, I'm not too good at this. I'm better at writing things down, so if I need to go into more detail about questions I answered, I totally can. But yeah, I'm excited to see other people's books and their feedback on mine. So yeah, this was fun.